Welcome to Digimon.
Hello and welcome to Digimon, and welcome to another deck profile. If you are liking our content, please make sure to like, subscribe and ding that notification bell so you are not missing out on any of the latest content. My name is Dan, and today we'll be looking at my list for Jesmon GX. If you've not heard of Jesmon, he was actually my very first deck, and he is finally kicking himself back into the meta. But we start off with one of the oldest eggs, which is a Cuton. This one's just got a really simple inheritable that when you're level 7 and when you attack, you gain a memory. The goal of this deck, as you will see as we go through, is to get into your GX, and at that point you will pretty much kill them, if not that turn, leaving to a point where they are dead next turn no matter what they do. So starting out with our rookies, we play what is still arguably one of the best searchers in the game, which is Huckmon from BT6. He digs for 5 through your deck and draws out any 2 of your pieces. If you play him at 4, there's no other way to run him. Secondly, we run our second Huckmon, and this is the one that actually we want to digivolve on top of our egg, and he's got a very important heritable that whenever we play a system on, we gain memory from it. If you've never come across the Jesmon profile before, it's kind of 2 mini decks together. You've got the Huckmon and the Royal Knights lines to build up, and then, right on time, we have the first of our Systemons, which are baked in Jesmon support. This one in particular lets us bin a card to draw 2, and it gives our main stack decoy. The next step is we then move on to our level 4s, and we're going to continue the Systemon theme first, where we run 2 of Systemon Seal, and again, she's got a very useful ability for gaining memory, which again you'll see, I'll point out a little bit later on of just how much memory gain we can get as you go through the stack. But we also add a second searcher in the form of our other Systemon Seal, and this one again gives our main stack with Jesmon reboot. And then finally we have a third Systemon Seal, this time from BT10, and this one, when we play it, lets us digivolve, though it is important to note we do pay the cost, but by the time you've built your stack, that cost is almost nothing. And then on top of that, again, whenever we do digivolve, we gain even more memory for the pleasure. But we do need some more Huckmons to actually continue building on top of it. So we run 4 of Bao Huckmon from BT13, and the main effect on this card is useful. When we play a Systemon, it does let us digivolve for cheap, but you will almost very rarely use that one. It's actually the inheritable we want again, which gives us another memory. That is actually the really important fact. We then just run out the rest of our lines with a couple more Bao Huckmons. Specifically, we have BT6 Bao Huckmon, which allows us when we're attacking to play out a Systemon. This is just handy if we haven't had our memory one and we just need to dig a little bit deeper as we're going on. And then we top it off by the final kind of version of Bao Huckmon, who just gives us an extra 1,000 points of DP. Most of the time it's not the one you want to see, which way you run out of 1, but every now and again there's a couple of matchups where just that extra bit of DP is enough just to take you over the top of something. Magnum one being a prime one, but just every now and again it's handy. Next, we move on to level 5s. Now, I will preface this by saying we only run 5 level 5s. That may feel very tight. It is, unfortunately, it's Jesmon's biggest flaw is that you have to have a sticking point somewhere in the deck because you've just got too much to try and build into. But these 5 so far in all my testing have been enough to push through it. You only need to see 1 most of the time, and that is enough for you to be winning the game. So we run 3 of Saviour Huckmon from BT6, who once upon a time was actually a limited card, and rightly so. It's still pretty horrible now. But when you digivolve, you get to play out 1 of your system and just immediately complete it for free, which triggers all of your memory effects to gain your memory back. And on top of that, it allows you to unsuspend once you've swung, as long as you've got a Systemon in play. And trust me, by the time you come out with this, you will have a Systemon in play, if not 4 from that turn. However, We also run 2 of the other Saviour Huckmon. This one has a similar Digivolving effect that when we play a Systemon, we get to Digivolve up into Jesmon for free. So when you play one of these 2, you can play them either way round. You either play out, have a Systemon for free, and then go up into the Jesmon for the normal cost, or you go into your Saviour Huckmon, play the Systemon out to then Digivolve into Jesmon for, normally it's 1 cost, but by the time you set your memory back, it's free. The nice bit though is it does have an inherentable to play out a Systemon again as you're doing, which will let you re-trigger certain effects if you're building, especially into a second stack. Is quite happy. Speaking of them, Jesmon shows up at our level 6s. First of all, we run 2 of the BT16 Jesmon. He is the one that we kind of want to see second most of the time, but he's got some very, very good board clear where it starts at 6k DP, and for every other Digimon in play, which by the time you play the stack is at least 2 or 3 Systemons, if not a little bit more, he lets you just quickly pop off and kill something else on the board. And then when you, for all your turns, on top of that, all your other Digimon and Systemons gain bonus DP on top of that as well. The one that we 100% want to see in our stack, though, is Jesmon X. Now, either you're lucky enough to get both in your hand, at which point you go Jesmon, and trigger its DP deletion, and then go into Jesmon X. But either way, it's when Digivolving effect to allow us to play out a Systemon for free by that Digivolving, just lets us come out and trigger a whole bunch of extra effects again off the Systemon. And then on top of that, it allows us to attack unsuspended Digimon as well. And all of your Systemon get an extra 2k DP on top of it. So if they've survived this big horribleness that is coming towards you, you've got, again, 3 or 4 Systemons on board, you've got a big stack, they have got to somehow survive having half the board deleted, having a big monster punching its way through you, and then still having to clear a board to stop them dying. The bit that has brought Jesmon back into the limelight, though, is Magna X. While he is a scary card in his own right, there's no way to Digivolve on top of him in this deck. It may seem a little bit weird, but we're going to jump ahead on and I'll re-explain exactly why Magna X is in a moment, because Jesmon X, our big boss daddy of the deck, has a very, very interesting effect. When you Digivolve him, you get to play any Royal Knight from either your hand or your trash, place it under Jesmon GX, and then trigger its when Digivolving effect. And then blitz afterwards for good measure. So that allows us to take Magnamon either from our hand or our trash, and it is worth noting that throughout the deck when you play certain cards you get the option to trash him. You never need to put Magna X in your hand. If you can just use them as trash fodder for one of your draws, often it's just the best way to do it. But you take your Magna X, you slide it underneath your giant stack, and then you get to immediately trigger Magna X's when Digivolving effect, which gives Jesmon an extra 3k DP, bringing it up to a mighty 18k before any of the other bonuses we've got on the board. Obviously triggers the immortality for Jesmon GX. There's nothing scarier than having a Digimon that is swinging at you with piercing. He's swinging at you at many, many DP. He's allowed to attack unsuspended Digimon. So he is going to pick something. He is going to stab you in the face. And he is going to punch you for every Royal Knight under him gives him an extra security check. So quite often he's doing 3 or 4 checks. If you've got our favourite Saviour run beneath it, he does that once, he then unsuspends, and he swings at you for another 4 checks. At that point, you're sat on the board with a GX that you can't affect with any of your abilities. Some of these DP effects carry on into your opponent's turn, so he's at least 18 to 20k. And then there's still 4 Systemon to deal with. But you do have to get to there, and this is where we do not run any tamers. The Jesmon GX, if you follow the law, he is his own tamer, to be honest. But we do run quite a lot of options to let us get to that place as quickly as possible. So, first of all, we run 2 offense trainings, just flat, dig 2, grab 2 out. What a shame our GX, or Magna X, sorry, we can't pick up because it's not red, so I have to sit in the trash, but never mind. We then run 3 memory boosts, which are a little bit old school, but it lets us dig for 3, and when your opponent wants to choke you to 1 and you can very quickly pop back up to 3, if you are sat at your level 4, 3 memory, you will digivolve up to GX, swing twice, and it will still be your turn. You can do it at 1 memory, but that's just overkill. We also have from Master from Disciple. This was kind of the precursor to the training cards, but in Jesmon, especially when paired with training, is just absolutely incredible. First of all, when you play it, you get to search for 3 and pick 1. But more importantly, it's when Digivolve effect just reduces the cost by 1. However, you can stack this with all of your other cards. So if you pop your Master from Disciple and then pop your defense training, you're reducing your Digivolve cost by 3. And very finally, we run Seikon Mapper. This is an option that absolutely passed by right at the time when it was out. But with GX specifically, it allows you to re-trigger his when digivolving effects. It allows you to unsuspend, and as Jesmon GX has Blitz, it gives you an option to tuck any of your Royal Knights back under, have an extra security check, have an extra swing, and if that thing you trigger is Magna X, become immortal for the 2nd or 3rd time as you need to. And there you go. That is the Jesmon GX. If you've got any thoughts or comments on this, please drop them down below for me. But yeah, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, ding that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. But until then, keep it digital.